Okay, so here's the situation. My grandma texted me at like 5 a.m. in the morning telling me that I should text my grandpa because it was his birthday, which I did not know. So I quickly tried to call him to tell him happy birthday. And when he answered, I just said, happy birthday, and then asked how his day was, and he was pretty, he didn't really say much, and then he made my grandma come and talk to me for the rest of the time, and she was just basically like, thanks for calling, okay, bye. And then later on, she texted me and said, thanks for calling, and then I said, of course, but I texted it OFC, which I realized was probably a mistake. Okay, so texting OFC was probably not the best idea because I'm not entirely sure that my grandma even knows what OFC means over text. Hopefully she knew what it meant, of course. But anyways, what all this situation relates to is intercultural communication. Now you might be thinking, how is it intercultural if it's my own family? But I see it as intercultural because since they're a bit older than me, they have different expectations when it comes to communication, especially over text. And they don't really use abbreviations like we do. Not only that, another thing is that since my grandma woke up so much earlier, there was a bit of miscommunication because she might have been thinking that I was just ignoring her text, when in reality, I just hadn't woken up yet because I wake up a lot later than she does. And yeah, so I would just improve it by remembering my grandpa's birthday and also making sure to not really use any abbreviations that she might not know. Okay, so here's the situation. I was just sitting on my couch, and then my dogs started looking at me like this. And their body language was kind of telling me that they maybe wanted to go outside because they just kept staring at me and then wagging their tails anytime I moved closer to the back door. So I rightfully assumed that they probably wanted to go outside, so I inched closer and closer. And yep, as I got closer, they just also got closer to the door, which suggested to me that they definitely wanted to go out. So I let them out. Okay, so that was the situation where my dogs were sort of staring at me and wagging their tails and eventually got me to get them to take them outside. Now, what sort of thing that been learning about does this connect to? Well, to me, this connects to nonverbal communication and specifically body language. I thought it would be fun to document the body language of my dogs because that is a primary way that we communicate with dogs in general, because it's not like they know our language and can speak with us, and thus we kind of just have to read their body language to understand what they want. In this case, it was clear to me that they wanted to go outside because I've gotten very used to reading their body language. For instance, often my dog Lauren, when she wants me to do something for her, she'll kind of stare at me and like kind of pounce and like wag her tail, which indicates to me that she wants something. And then I knew further that they specifically wanted to go outside. One, because all the dogs were asking me at once. And two, because they were inching closer and closer towards the door once I asked them what they wanted. And yeah, so when I obviously went to the door at the end there, it became very clear to me that it was definitely they wanted to go outside because they stood right next to the door, which is their biggest indicator that they want to go outside. Now, in terms of what I would improve, I would say I would just be a bit quicker in taking them outside, because I understood pretty clearly what they were saying, but I waited a bit longer so I could get a better video, and overall, I would ask them what they want sooner, because they understand what I mean when I say that. And yeah.
So basically, I was in PE class, and I was wondering to myself, I wonder if I could take this final early so I don't have to be here. So I went to ask Greg, my PE teacher, if I could take it early, and he said no, because administrations told him no. And so I was a little bummed out because I want to take it early, and I have in other classes. And in my computer applications class, I was wondering the same thing, can I take my final early? So I went to Miss Tomaszewski, and I asked her, And she said no too, basically. The administration's told her no. And I was like, what the heck? Why not? Because other teachers have allowed us to. And I didn't think it was that big of a deal. Like, no one wants to be here. So yes, finals are coming up, and I wanted to take the final early. I did not want to have to be here early in the morning. But I did not take into account what the teachers were told and what they were experiencing with this. Obviously, it was probably stressful for them, and I was just getting a little upset that they were saying I could not take it early. But my perspective was that they were just not really thinking about it, but not really understanding that they were given instructions and that they were told to do something. So this is an example of trying to put myself in other people's shoes and to realize that my perspective on the situation was different from theirs. So to improve this and to improve my perspective taking, I'm going to next time take into account what they may be told as teachers and know that their position is different than mine as a student, and that we are both being told different things. And even though I may experience having my final early in some classes, that may just not be possible for other classes.
So on Tuesday in my econ class, I had to give a presentation, and I did it on the Dominican Republic. And so I was giving the presentation, just yapping away, and it was all going okay. I knew my information, but then I started to forget what I was going to say, which wasn't really good because I thought I had prepared enough, but then it turns out that I didn't. So that was no fun, but then I recovered and it was okay.
Okay, so this communication event was an example of extemporaneous speaking because I kind of had a slight idea about what I was going to say, but then I had to kind of improv and do it on the spot. And what I could have improved about this situation was I could have known my information a little better, because eventually I started forgetting what I was going to say, and then I used a lot of filler words and and like, so that definitely could have gone better. So yeah.
Hey guys, we're at lunch right now. Second lunch. Who's Sydney? Jasmine? Izzy and Breeze? Where'd the log go? Where'd it go? Yeah. I got it. We got this? Don't put it in my face. So this is our very first room. We do a lot of things. YouTube is affected now. This is our vlog. Why are there things? This is what we do at lunch. We talk about a lot of stuff at lunch. It looks crazy. It's one of them. Yeah. There's a lot of conversations going on with this many people at one table. Yeah. Okay, that's all for now. Bye.
So mine related to the communication process, because there were all these parts while I was trying to communicate. I was the encoder trying to talk to Blair, the decoder. But there were a lot of things going on because this was at our lunch table. So we have 7 people at our lunch, so there were 5 other people, and we were out in the junior-senior hall. So this all adds to our external noise. However, we also have our own internal noise because we're thinking about our own things while everybody else is talking out loud and we're trying to have a conversation. This could easily be improved because there were a lot of people between us. We aren't even right next to each other when we talk. So I could have moved over to talk to her so that she could hear me better or understand me and hear my other things I was saying. It was also really loud, so I could just have talked to her at a different time, at a different place, like when it was just us and quieter. And then I also could have done it in a less stressful situation, kind of, or a less stressful time, because we're all thinking about our other classes or studying for tests or doing homework that we missed.
So here, this is me in my economics class, and we are playing Monopoly for an assignment to basically learn how to capitalize the most and make the most money. Through this process, we were kind of shouting a whole bunch of ideas out and trying to make deals with each other. So it required every one of us to listen to each other, and it also required every one of us to try not to get too worked up over things, especially when it felt like we were straight up being conned out of everything we owned. And I was pretty poor, so I tried to stay out of that, but it did get tense at moments. So within the group, we kind of had to remind ourselves that it's just a game. And so yeah, it was pretty fun overall. And we had to learn how to make quick ideas and smart decisions and just continue using effective communication to gain what we want and to have a civil game together.
So this project was an example of intergroup communication. We obviously were all in a group and we were trying to communicate basically for ourselves how to make the most money, but communicating with each other to see who would be able to make deals and stuff like that. So when talking in a group, you kind of have to have an open mind, listen to everybody's ideas, even though the purpose of the game was to be pretty selfish, capitalize, make the most money. So you had to remind yourself to try to listen to everyone and their pitches in the group. To improve next time, probably we would just not take things as seriously because, in Monopoly, things can get pretty uptight. But just to know that we're all just trying to win the game, and sometimes the things being said aren't a personal attack and things like that. And to really just make sure we're listening to everyone and their ideas within the group.
It's okay to ask your turn.
Hey guys.
I don't know. So we were just talking about a lot of other things, and I would ask Charlie a question and she would answer. Mm-hmm. What were we talking about? F1? We were talking about F1 and celebrities.
Yeah.
You guys are going, didn't say that.
This is very on the spot.
This is actually my impromptu, okay? This vlog right here is my impromptu, so we're gonna use this twice.
Do I stop it? No. You gotta improv.
What do you think of Kimmy Antonelli? That's a question.
I don't know who that is.
Make something. He's the greatest. Okay, so I had impromptu, and this video was of me, Charlie, Jackson, Sam, and Presley at guest house studying for our science final. This was impromptu because this was supposed to be Charlie's explanation for hers, but it was so on the spot that we decided to use it for my impromptu. I think we could easily improve this by maybe instead of having so many different topics brought up, just try to stick to the one, no matter how confusing or if I don't know what to say, just try to keep with it and stay on that topic instead.
Basically, me and my mom were in St. Louis, right? And we were shopping in this super sketchy mall. It was on the weird side of St. Louis where no one's supposed to go. So basically, anyway, so we're walking around this mall, and then this drug addict comes up to us. He has this knife, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I need money right now." But we're like, "No, we're not doing that because that's crazy." And we try walking away, but he keeps following us. So then we go find my dad, and then my dad, I don't know what he does, but he gets all up in his beeswax, he's ready to fight. But I just didn't know, because are we in the wrong for intimidating a homeless person who wanted drugs? Because they're homeless, they're going through it. So maybe we were in the wrong. What do you think?
I'm sorry. I stopped listening for a little bit there. No, I don't think it's your fault. Probably.
Okay, so that was a clip of me and Emma talking. Obviously, that story was a little exaggerated, but that does happen a lot. She tells really long-winded, very interesting to listen to stories, and I occasionally space out and get distracted, which is not the best example of listening and responding. So in that video, I was supposed to be listening, but then when it came time for responding, I had not been listening, so I could not respond well. So one way that I can improve is A, listen better, be engaged in the conversation, and B, respond better, because I responded kind of awkwardly and because I wasn't listening. So those two kind of go hand in hand.
Okay, so here's the situation. So during a week during choir, our friend was gone, and during that week we were having auditions for solos for the winter concert that we just very recently had.
And so our friend asked Miss Sinecki, our choir teacher, if there's a way that she could still audition somehow. And Miss Sinecki told her yes, that she would get her the information later and not to worry about it.
But the thing was, so during that week while she was gone, she supposedly told one of us to tell our friend about the auditions. But the thing is, either one of us forgot, or maybe she thought she told us, but she didn't. But either way, our friend was never told about the solo auditions.
So she didn't get to audition, she didn't get a solo, which was kind of a bummer for her because those were our senior solos. And yeah.
So she was very upset. Thank you, Charlie. Yeah. She was very upset because of that, and we all felt super bad. And because of that, I think there's a lot we could improve on. But first, what sort of skill does this fall under? Well, I feel like this kind of falls under interpersonal communication, because overall, the miscommunication happened when it was like one-on-one individuals talking, because Miss Sinecki thought she talked to us, and we thought that Miss Sinecki talked to our friend. And so overall, there's a lot just miscommunication between person to person. And so obviously there's a lot we could improve on. And so, for instance, for me, I could think more about how, maybe I should make sure my friend knows about these auditions, because I know she cares a lot about getting an audition. And beyond that, we could talk to Miss Sinecki more, just to make sure that, our friend gets the solo, has a chance to get the solo that she wants. And so, yeah, I feel really bad.
Hey guys.
Hey.
We're at guest house.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about what our favorite drink is.
Yeah. So what do you like, Lily?
Me? Yeah. I like getting quenchers. How about you?
I also like the quenchers.
That's good. Perfect lemonade.
Yeah, flavor. I like the lemonade, and then I get strawberry usually, or peach. Sometimes I get strawberry and peach.
Never had strawberry.
It's really good.
Or peach.
Oh,
me personally, I get the passion fruit or green tea.
Ooh.
Green tea, great. Because I don't drink caffeine.
Wow.
So it's natural. Yeah, it really helps. We're only at 30 seconds. 40 seconds.
Okay. So this is a great example of verbal communication, because verbally we're communicating.
Also, listening and responding.
Yes. That's my next one. I can't talk about that now. Okay, so in that last clip, Lily and I and a group of friends were at guest house studying for finals. And Lily and I weren't studying. We were just talking about whatever we wanted. And then I realized that we were verbally communicating. So I set up my camera because I remembered I had to do my vlog. And then because we were filming, we both got really awkward and weird. So that's something we can improve on, not filming it, because that just made it awkward. Another thing is, we really exhausted that topic about the drinks really fast. That's not really something you can talk about for an extended period of time, but we sure tried. We tried to get that 1 minute. So something we could improve on is moving on. Let it go. So, yeah.